says we're live. Okay, that was dramatic. How's it going, everyone? I hope.
Recently, for no reason
Fucking
at all, I asked Mint Mobile's
ads.
maintenance if big wireless companies are allowed.
That's not me. That's Ryan Reynolds. Where am I? Am I? Hello? And oh, there we go. Okay, I will send the tweet. Thank you, Cornbread. All right, here we go. Hello, Ramsey the artist. Hello, Cornbread. Hello, Nathaniel Foga. Hello, Jordan Salafalo. Ramsey the artist is actually here. I'm glad your internet's working. I'm sorry, Super Dusky Purple Goob. I saw something about like a VHS you bought. I'm a little confused about that. While I was setting up, Zane Powers, Cornbread, Al Vasquez. We have a good crowd tonight, I gotta say. And Wandon Natty. Is that how you say that? Hey, Gary's here. Gary was a Dark City poster to make up for the fact that I will never give his DVD back. I get it. You're inadequate without it, but the poster's cool. Twisted Transistor. Hello. Oh, that's good. That's good. Twisted Transistor. Oh my god. Oh my god. I really love that name. That's so funny. I love it. Anyway, Zodberg Pup, Jordan Salafalo again. All right. Let me cut to. Sorry, Gary's great, by the way. I know Gary's been looking for jobs and stuff. If anyone has a job for Gary, give it to him. Hello, how's it going? It's me. Sorry, Gary. We're just playing. I feel like that went too far. Anyway, I feel bad now. Cornbread. Oh, making mozzarella sticks. There's VHS in the Discord. What? Oh my god. Oh, jeez. All right. I'm gonna be checking that out later. That's a reason to check out the Discord. Hello. Sorry, we're starting a little late. I actually wanted to finish all the dishes, so after the show I can just make the timestamps and just then go to bed and not have to. Well, I have to fold clothes, so I did. I put it a little bit. Oh, can you? Yeah, I hope that volume's okay. Anyway, man, today's been a weird day, but I'm here now. We're doing it. Weird day, hard day, as it always is. I forget what Austin said. I'm glad. Oh, now I remember, Austin. Okay, first off, this is the least surprising one ever. Is this Red Bull here, sugar-free Red Bull, going back to the classics. The only reason I am actually the dispensary where I got all the fun ones closed. I walked by it. They were like just destroying it. I was like, oh, I guess I'm not getting any more. So we'll see. But Carton, can I like your super chat? Is that what this? I like it. Okay, I'm gonna do that. I didn't realize that. That's new. Okay, Austin says, Carton, I'm glad, but you liked my comment today, so I'll explain this. Cheers to you, Austin. What happened today is Austin. I think he asked me a question that's later in the show, but he found my Oscar nominations breakdown from, I think it was like 10 years ago, over 10 years ago. And breaking down how much I didn't like those nominations for the year of 2011. And I was like surprised by someone going through those. I was like, I don't unlist those because in case people are interested, I guess. But if you want to, then yeah. But let us know what. Oh, this. Tell us who you're playing as. Could we get a rundown of that? I would like to run down of that, Austin. But yeah, the 2012 Oscar nominations breakdown, he did comment on. So if you want to watch the other, I do one about every year usually. It's just me going through stuff. I don't know. Some years people like it. Some years people are like, yeah. But I'm going to do it either way. So I might as well tell someone else about it. Can I like regular comments? I don't think I can. Anyway, if you give me a super chat, I guess I'll like it too. Do both. I mean, I do like super chats. So hey, a guy named Crystal's here. I'm trying to think. Anything cool? I'm trying to. There's like a Spike Lee exhibit near me, and I want to see it. And we're like members to that museum, and I was gonna go and film some stuff and make a little short because I do want to actually make shorts of the John Waters exhibit I saw in Baltimore years ago, and because I have footage of that, and the Edison Museum I went with Matt Berry a long time ago. I want to do anyway. I need to end the Jay-Z exhibit that I went to that was in the Brooklyn Library. I want to do things like that. But if I do the Spike Lee exhibit, I'll probably do it more recently. But I need to do those things. Whoa! 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 Hello, what's going on? Sinram. Garrett Newell. Okay, Sinram. Well, first off, I'm definitely going to like that. But Sinram said, first off, Sinram is very nice to me in general. And also, your picture, I fixed it and it's ready to be the break image. But Sinram was extra cool because I had to leave suddenly when we met up, and he was very nice to me. And I want to thank him for that because that was not something I wanted. I really wanted to hang out with him, and I don't want to get into it. But anyway, Sinram deserves a lot of respect. Anyway, Sinram says, I wish to apologize to anyone who was offended. I don't think anyone was, but I appreciate that you are apologizing regardless. By my question about the RoboCop remake last week, I was intoxicated by alcohol and by Michael Keaton's charm. Oh, Michael Keaton's in the RoboCop. Wow, that whole movie is like whoosh. Nevertheless, I take full responsibility. I think everyone was cool. Was everyone cool? If anyone was offended, let me know. But Sinram apologized, and Sinram's a great guy, and you should check out his YouTube channel. And he was telling me stuff he was going to do, and I'm excited to see it. I've been watching Sinram for. I was trying to actually pinpoint it. But anyway, cheers to you, Sinram, first off. I don't know the exact year, and I feel like it might have been 2012 or sooner. I'm not sure. But I distinctly remember when Star Trek Into Darkness came out, I watched his review of Star Trek Into Darkness. So that's at least 2013, but I feel like we were friends before that. Anyway, I was just thinking of that recently. But I think we're all cool. But thank you very much for the super chat. Sinram's a cool guy. Check out his channel. But I'm wondering. Anyway, sorry. This is like me talking about stuff. I apologize. Bloxy Oxonical says, Powerpuff Girls Wednesday Addams crossover when? I hope not too soon. Cheers to you, Bloxy Oxonical. And I will like that. So I put on this hoodie. Anyway, now I'm too hot because I'm. What was else I was gonna talk about? I watched Fallen Leaves, but I kept falling asleep, so I don't want to say I saw it. I do like reviewing smaller stuff. I've been kind of trying to do it in accordance with change my mind. I'm not going to work because of the stream. Oh man, fuck your job, MLT. I've been trying to do smaller and different movies because I do like all sorts of movies. I wanted to show that with Strangers. What was it? Oh my god, I just made that video. Now I'm like, what was that video I made? Now I can't. Jim, no, remember good. But yeah, I totally fell asleep in during Fallen Leaves. So I don't know if all of Us Strangers. Oh my god, I was just working on that so hard. Anyway, All of Us Strangers, which I don't, I like doing those things. I know they're not the biggest views and stuff, but I like doing all sorts of movies. But I was gonna do Fallen Leaves, and then I conked the fuck out a lot. So I don't feel confident having slept through a lot of it. But it seemed cool. I need to. Maybe I'll catch up to it and review it later. I'm trying to think. We kept watching How to Train Your Dragons. I think we watched the first two. I forget if we watched the second one recently, but that's been fun. I kind of want to catch up with the Kung Fu Pandas. I might do a review of the first one before. Anyway, I should get going and move on. Just random. Okay, let's talk about channel stuff. First off, thank you all who've watched the cartoon. I'm doing certain things with it, but I'll talk about it soon. Usually I had the Shrek series running. When there'd be a new Film Art video, there'd be a Shrek review. My idea originally was to do the new one, do Puss in Boots and Puss in Boots 2. But I have like too many things going on, and I have a ton of stuff shot. So I actually have Chicken Run the original and Chicken Run 2 shot. So Chicken Run at 1 and 2 will be associated with the new film run video and the song that I just actually finished the verse of right after the premiere. So they will be, that's what will be coming out. With that, I just wanted to note that so you didn't think I forgot. It's more just, I ended up shooting way too much stuff and it sort of needs to come out. So it's sort of a, let's not make this worse, basically. I think I'll do Puss in Boots before the next one, but we'll see how I do that. Who knows? Life is crazy. I am putting out a fairly consistent amount of videos, but yeah, I will do Puss in Boots eventually. Sorry for any delay, but it's more just like the Chicken Run stuff needs to come out. I'm very proud of my review of the first Chicken Run. I think is pretty good, or at least what I shot. I haven't edited it, so wait for that. So I just wanted to say that so it's cleared up. Anything else? Thank you everyone who watched Nausicaa, the review of Nausicaa for a throwback. It actually had its best day ever on Monday when I did it as a throwback. I didn't, that's kind of a review that the views are fine. It just always was like 1 or 2 every day, and it finally got its big day. So congrats. That's kind of from my Ghibli series. I've reviewed all the Ghibli stuff. Why it's in black and white, I actually don't know. That's the big mystery. If anyone can figure out, I think I just probably looked weird that day and it didn't look as weird in black and white, but anyway. And then I'm going to have a throwback of Kingsman on Friday because of Argyle, although I'm not seeing Argyle, but hey, people like Kingsman. And then I did research for Saber Sparks' latest for Class B Shupo. Because Sunday was a little busy, I didn't really get to repost it that day, but I will probably tomorrow or something. But Saber's a good guy, and yeah. So if you should check that out if you haven't. I did a lot of research on that one actually. I did a big beefy. I think everyone else called it beefy, so that's why I'm calling it that. But it's a good video. I like it, and I like doing the It's black and white because it's an old video. Thank you, Pup. That's a good one. So check that out if you haven't. And I think that's everything. And I hope you guys like the throwbacks. Sorry I bring them up just to tell everyone. Anyway, we should get into it. I feel like there's like something and I should like write down anecdotes, and I never plan this part, and I think you can tell that I'm just like blah blah blah. Anyway, okay. So this and everything I do is supported by you, the fans, either through Patreon, where you get all sorts of exclusives. You're actually going to get postcards. I put them in the mail today. If you're the $10 and up patrons, you get more power in the movie review vote. You get exclusive videos. Like there's an exclusive video for patrons this week. I scheduled it, so it's happening. And my commentary series as well. You get access to my public access show, actually, movie stuff, and all sorts of cool exclusive content and more interaction and things like that. Sorry. Sorry. But it also helps me support the show and do all sorts of awesome things like make stickers and flyers and tell people about the show. More things that I'll get into when it goes through, I guess. And hint, I guess. Energy drinks, all sorts of that stuff helps me grow, as well as super chats during the show, which I will now heart your super chat. Look at that. And take a swig of Red Bull and all those things. If you are financially able to do so. If not, giving a like on the video always helps. Or subscribing, where you can hear about the throwbacks. I do a fair amount of community posts and all sorts of cool stuff like that. And when I do my instant premiere things that I do when I put out a new video, most of them I do that with, so you can check those out. And then yeah, but if you are not and you're just watching this, I really appreciate it, actually. I actually very much appreciate it if you're just watching, and that's cool. Thank you very much for being here. Yes. And also, you should check out the Discord. It is run very well by Austin and Zane Powers. They do all sorts of cool stuff. Like, for example, I asked them what they want me to talk about during the show on Wednesdays. Sorry, my brain. Okay, let me just a sip. On Wednesdays. Sorry. You can see Cornbread's thumbnail predictions. It's a great community. It's a lot of fun. There's an Ask Jim channel. Ask me questions anytime. I will answer them. If you like the people in the chat during the show, the best way to hang out with them, if you can't make a show, for example, is on the Discord. There's all sorts of things like licensed playing card channel, which I have my Spirit Away cards. I probably need to switch cards. I've been saying that for a while. Well, these have been holding up remarkably well. But it's really cool. It's really fun community. I very much recommend it. Also follow me on Twitter, Tumblr, Facebook fan page, Instagram, personal, and all that, TikTok. I think we got everything. Also, I forgot to mention, I did shoot a review for Anatomy of Fall. I don't know when it's coming out. However, when it does, that probably won't be a premiere because I got into the ending too much, and I don't like to put out premieres of things if it's going to spoil it, because obviously you could just click on it thinking, oh, it's a premiere. I'd love to just watch a couple minutes of this, and you get spoiled, and that's not fair. So, I'm fairly certain that will happen. And also my review from the segment from Movie Crap Live last week, where I did the Jared Hess thing. For some reason, I kept calling him Jared Harris. So actually, when you see that video, some parts will be refilmed. Anyway, moving on. My fault there. I don't know why Jared Harris is an actor for Mad Men, and they have no similarities. You're sketching. Cool, Ramsey the Artist. I mean, you are Ramsey the Artist, so it makes sense. All right. Let's where's my fucking script there? Okay, sorry. Let's talk about this one thing. I brought up the Kevin Conroy thing because I kind of wanted to clear it up. This isn't a well-detailed story, but I thought I wanted to talk about it early because there's a lot of confusion I seen online. I do like to explain that. Jeremy Lucier wrote this article. I like that guy. Anyway, basically, it is not... The Suicide Squad game isn't the last Kevin Conroy thing. We have two things. He will appear in the Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 3, which is this final film in a trilogy for the Justice League Crisis on Infinite Earth movies, as well as he specifically be voicing his original... No, wait, that's... Sorry. He lent his voice to the upcoming Batman Caped Crusader, which hasn't come out yet. So everyone seems to insinuate, and I unless they know something I don't, that Crisis on Infinite Earth Part 3 will be the final one, but there's also no release date for Batman Caped Crusader, but there's also no release date for Crisis on Infinite Earth Part 3, unless someone knows of one. So to me, like, we don't actually know which one will be the last released. Maybe Crisis on Infinite Earth was the final. It seems like nobody knows what is the last one recorded. They just know what is the last one. Those two will probably be the last two released. So we'll see which one is first, basically. I'm a little interested in the Crisis on Infinite Earth thing. I would love to do more DC movies. It's just a time issue, to be perfectly honest. Like, I think a lot of stuff... I have a thing I wanted to... Okay, after this I'll say. It's just a time issue. Maybe I should review them at some point. But that's what's going on with that. I think there's kind of a bit of a confusion on the issue of that. Now, before we talk about live action remakes... Wait, Bruce Timm, the producer? Really? Because all these reports are saying the otherwise, so I'm confused. Okay, so I guess Bruce Timm came out after that. So it seemed... Oh, okay. Okay, never mind. So it sounds like Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 3 is... okay, so this summer... Alright. See, everyone says expect this summer, but I'm a little like... that doesn't necessarily, I don't know, I find that to be an odd, whatever. Okay, so it definitely is that. Thank you everyone for keeping me honest there. Appreciate that. I didn't see that Bruce Timm thing. Okay, all right. So before I get into other stuff, I wanted to actually bring up two things, and I forgot. I'm sorry. I'm going to do the opening segment better next week. One is there is a new He-Man thing. No one's asked me to review it, but I grew up with He-Man. I'm going to watch it. It'll probably just be a short, just because I don't have enough time to do a full review of that. Just because I think that's all that will be. However, the other thing is, Austin asked me in the Ask Jim Discord about Iron Claw. I would like to watch Iron Claw, to be honest, and review it. It seems like people really enjoy it. So here's what I want from you, the audience, actually. I actually need to catch up on 2023 movies. I would like to post Oscars, do a stream, an extra stream at some point, and it's just me telling you what my top 10 of 2023 is super late. I know I need, but my only thing is like, I want to ask you what 2023 movies that I haven't reviewed that I should review. Do it in the comments. Do it in the comments of this video, and let me know. The only stipulation is it can't be nominated for Best Picture, and it cannot be Beau is Afraid. And those ones, and I'll tell you. Hold on, I'll tell you what I have shot. It's like Last Island of Demeter. Hold on. Last Island of Demeter, Anatomy of a Fall, Aquaman 2, Chicken Run 2, May, December, The Holdovers, and The Killer. I have review shot. So this is more about me asking what movies you want me to review. Try to look at my 2023 review list. But yeah, just comment in this video just so I can like see what people are like, what you guys really actually want me to see. This isn't like I'm just generally curious. So, but Beau is Afraid, Best Pictures, and the ones I listed. So I don't know, maybe that's too confusing. But if you can think of ones I haven't, put them in the comments below. I'd like to see what this isn't a movie review vote. I can't guarantee anything, but I'd like to sort of know like what everyone's like. Hey, what happened with that? And like, I feel like sometimes, okay, Chan Talks More Movies is saying Dial of Destiny. You know what? Dial of Destiny, so here's the thing with Indiana Jones movies. Because as a kid, I grew up, and Last Crusade was the last one, I was always like, well, why would I see this other movie? Because it's over. Like, to me, I had accepted the end of it. So I didn't see Kingdom of the Crystal Skull till like years later, because I was like, why the fuck would I see this? It's over. I don't understand. Also, the original DP isn't shooting the other two, so that to me I always thought was weird. But if you guys want, we can figure that out, or at least I can see them before I do my top 10. And at the very least, I think that's true. But this might be well, okay, here's the thing about that. Maybe I can do a thing. This is maybe like, let's just say this is an early version of that. When I get closer to actually being able to do a top 10, I'll do a thing like that. But I think this could just be a fun, just let me know, just as an idea. I think Cornbread has a good point. Maybe I'll do a community post later when I'm closer to actually making this idea. But let's just do it for now. Just let me know. I'm just curious. That's all. That's all this is. It might, who knows? Sorry. Anyway, so live action remakes of animated stuff. It's had an interesting week, actually. We found out that the Avatar remake is going to make Sokka less sexist in this, which I don't really get, because it's sort of like it's like part of the character and the story, and like shows like him growing as a person is like kind of a major part of the thing. And it's like, how is he gonna, anyway, it just sort of plays like what a lot of these remakes do is like, oh, well, someone in a video essay or someone on a MySpace post said, why is it's, it's like, sorry, that like Belle has Stockholm syndrome or this or that, and it's like, what period did this movie take place of? And like they're never good arguments, and Sokka being less sexist feels like you're answering someone brought that up and you're like, oh, this is a problem, but you're not thinking of the story reason that was an issue, like, or that was in the story. And I just think it's like such a fucking ridiculous thing to do. That's sort of like why I brought it up so much, because it's like I don't know, I don't like this. You're sounding as smart as the people who make these posts. That's true. I don't get why when you're doing a live action remake you try to just correct all these things, but the reasons you're correcting them is just for, like, there's no actual story reason to us right now, and it just feels like another boring commentary on live action. Whereas I gotta say the How to Train Your Dragon remake, like Dean Devlin doing these photos of him in a sweater, him having fun. I'm like, I really, like, I think I tweeted something like, I don't want this movie to exist, but I want this guy to succeed. And it just kind of like I really don't want that movie, but I gotta admit, it's like actually an interesting idea to have the director of the animated one direct a live action one. So I'm a little more curious about that. Whereas this Avatar thing, I'm just like, yeah, I don't know. It's like, well, Conroy is actually saying, it's like the point of it, I will get you to, Jay, sorry, is that he grows. And like, I don't know. I do find it odd now that people are so against anything being problematic in media that they kind of don't understand there's a reason things, like, sometimes there are things that are problematic that obviously, like, that is bad, but there's sometimes they're problematic to make a point about that. It's like All in the Family couldn't exist today because people would try to cancel Archie Bunker, but the point of Archie Bunker was to be that way. Like, that's the point of the character. And it's like so weird to me that like people are complain about that stuff. Like, I'm not like, oh, cancel culture ruined it. I actually don't think that. It's just like, you should understand that there's story reason. Like, art is meant to also make you uncomfortable. And maybe, I don't know, part of me actually think it's because people watch things that are very oh, the mozzarella sticks are done, holy shit. Anyway, sorry, let me do two things. Sorry, that's what I really would. Can you send me one? That would be nice. Okay, Toon J first says /sarcasm says Anakin Skywalker is too, hold on, the scrolls in YouTube have not been working with me. You couldn't make a Mel Blanc movie today? Nice. Said Tunj723 said Anakin Skywalker is too miserable. They need to remake the prequel trilogy to make him less fearful, less angry, and less hateful. I can honestly see that though. Cheers to you, Tunj723. That was funny. No, don't be sarcastic. I want this to happen now. Midnight's Edge would love it. Oh shit, mozzarella sticks. Nice, Gary. Anyway, I just think it's like, if you're adapting Avatar, make it Avatar. But then they're like, I noticed there was a story today. It was like, oh, they're going to show this thing and it's going to be way more intense. And I'm like, why would I want that? Like, the thing is, like, I was talking about, showing my daughter this, and I was like, the one thing, it's like, it's basically it is a kid's show. It doesn't mean it's bad. It's just very much like a moral lesson every episode. I actually think it's very good at that. And like, if you're taking that away, it's like, why the fuck do I care? Like, it's just like, you're missing the appeal of the whole thing. I do want to watch it a little bit, but we'll see. Anyway, but it is kind of funny. How to Train Your Dragon, I've noticed, like, their press is just like the director making funny faces, and the internet's loving that. And like the Avatar people are like, no, but it's more intense, and also this thing and that. And it's like, dude, like, if you just had you posing with funny pictures in a sweater with some swords and stuff, I'd be way more. You know what? Actually, maybe that should be press tours. It's people making funny faces. To be honest, most press tours are about as smart as that anyway. That'd be funny. They should just have him do the press tour. I'm like, I was just really hyped. You know, it was kind of fun making this movie. It's not going to be good, but I had fun. I'd be like, you know what? I don't like this movie, but I like him. Anyway, Yeah, I'm just really not into this live action Avatar. I just think it's such a shit idea. I need to stop crapping on it because I've done it like 2 shows in a row, and then that's gonna become like my fucking thing or something. I don't want that. I'm sorry. All right, so Beekeeper, the Beekeeper is the presently worldwide is the number one movie in the world of 2024. For movies in 2024, The Beekeeper is number one with 104 million. It is the first film worldwide to cross 104 million. Obviously, I was right to review it, and clearly I helped to... No, I'm joking. But 104 million is really cool. It's actually a lot of box office people, and this isn't me joking. I forgot Did I forget a story? I definitely did. I'll have to... Hold on. I will deal with that in a second. Anyway, even though The Beekeeper, Mean Girls has never done anything, has been number one in America pretty much every week. The Beekeeper does beat, on certain days it's done 1 and 2. Argyle's not out yet, so we'll talk about that next week. But Mean Girls keeps beating the weekend, even though on Saturday Beekeeper is number one, and on weekdays Mean Girls and Beekeeper switch off. It's not the number one movie in domestically or in America for 2024, but in worldwide it is. But it is considered a success because it's an original movie, and it's basically a movie star movie. I mean, it's like you're selling it on Jason Statham. So, I don't know, pretty amazing, to be honest. And still actually has, according to box office, a higher per-screen average than Mean Girls, but it's also in less theaters. I am also excited for Lisa Frankenstein. My next 2024 movie is Orion in the Dark, which is the Charlie Kaufman written DreamWorks movie, which I'm hearing not as much about as Argyle, which I'm like, there's a Charlie Kaufman animated movie, and y'all are just like... talking about Argyle? I don't know. Anyway, other interesting box office things. Wonka's almost 200 million in America. Migration actually crossed 100 million, despite everyone sort of forgot about that one. But it's holding strong. I don't know when I'll see that. That's one I would like to see. If anyone, I don't know if people... That and Wish. I haven't done Wish. There's a bunch of stuff I need to see. I'm curious if anyone will comment what their movies are like. Maybe, anyway. Sorry, I'm already... Ramsey Yaris. No, your internet. Apparently, Ruby Gillman is going to be in the DreamWorks logo, which means they may have future plans for her. Oh, cool. I liked Ruby Gillman. I hope they do. All right, anyway, sorry. Anyone But You still holding strong. It's still at number 5. I think that movie's getting not as much love how well it's doing, or not as much attention for how well it's doing. It's really holding strong. But both Poor Things and American Fiction rose quite a bit by... Poor Things got 900 more theaters. American Fiction got 850 theaters. Both got an Oscar bump. People are saying Godzilla -1 did, but also the black and white cut came out, so I'm a little it's iffy on that shit. But it did get 1,500 more theaters and rose 290%. As well as, I know, okay, so this is, I haven't done this in a while, and I was like, maybe I should do it. It'd be fun, since there isn't really a huge story this week, so, you have certain films like Oppenheimer rose 255% up from last week and gotten 1,000 more theaters because of the Oscars. Same with Holdovers, 500% up and gotten to 1,000 more theaters because it got Oscar nominations. But here's the ones that are really funny. Killers of the Flower Moon, which clearly it says it's in total of 941 theaters. It got in 925 theaters, so it's basically not in theaters anymore. Went up 2,900.1%. But this is my favorite, and this one makes no sense. Like Anatomy of Fall got in a ton of theaters this week, stuff like that. But then for some reason, Thanksgiving rose from number 57 to 29 and rose, according to Box Office Mojo, 92,602.2%. Why is Thanksgiving in more theaters all of a sudden? I don't know. But it was previously, it rose to 508 theaters this week. This is the weirdest box office. I don't understand this. 508 theaters. And it's currently at 511 theaters. So that's it was in 3 theaters. Did it get an Oscar? Why Thanksgiving? What is going on? What is going on? It made $85,000. Why is Thanksgiving? Because it's like sometimes you get these bumps because a drive-in suddenly opened, but it's January. There's no drive-ins. Why is Thanksgiving? What's going on right now? Who is watching Thanksgiving in all these theaters? Who wanted Thanksgiving in all these theaters in the end of January? I'm lost on this whole thing, but whatever. It's very it doesn't make any sense. Spider-Verse actually lost 309 theaters. Whatever. And then I went down. You know what I'm going to do from now on? What is the bottom of the last weekend's box office? And it used to go down to 100 when we had more theaters. We're only at 63. There's 60. There's also, by the way, The Pianist had a 2024 re-release. Why is that? Oh, and I see 100 of Beavers did come out already in 3 theaters. So maybe I should try to see that. This movie called Godard Cinema, which is a movie about Jean-Luc Godard, only made $272. That's the bottom of the box office. So Godard Cinema, sorry, you are the lowest at the box office. I just thought, I used to look at those. It's like, why not? Anyway, but I just wanted to talk about random box office trivia there. But seriously, the Thanksgiving thing, what's going on there? That's if someone could explain that one to me, I'm confused. All right, maybe they're just like, hey, we have empty theaters, why not? But aren't there like other horror movies? I don't know. All right, so the Supergirl cast, or Supergirl was cast. I'm sorry, the role of Supergirl was cast. It's Millie Alcock, who is from House of the Dragon, which is a Game of Thrones show. WB does integration or kind of helping. Hello, Steve-O. Thank you. WB does like kind of doing a thing where someone's already on a thing they own, and then they kind of promote them to another thing. So it both helps the properties they already have, and it sort of looks like they have a star system, even though nobody does anymore. Thank you, Steve-O. So that's why apparently of the 3 people considered, Meg Donnelly, who I was kind of more into just because my daughter watches the zombie movies and stuff, she because she was the voice of Supergirl in certain things. However, it seems like that doesn't help you as much as actually being in a live action thing. And then James Gunn's been like, oh, I always wanted her. I'm like, then why did you have all these fucking auditions, dude? Like, why? Hold on. Why does that look... Okay, anyway, sorry. Yeah, she was cast. We know she's going to be in a movie that is not Supergirl first, and that there's no Supergirl... there's no director for Supergirl, which people have been bringing up is not cool. But I kind of... I don't know. It's like I heard Matthew Vaughn say things about it. I heard a couple people comment like it's not cool to cast something without a director. But it's like they're kind of like these big corporate IP things. So it's like unless a director is like, I'm going to do several Supergirl movies or something, I'm a little like they're studio films, and you just kind of have to deal with what you are. And I get that people like want that director to have that choice. But I think it's like a lot of directors don't get casting choice. It's not as unusual as I think people would like, and directors would like that. But it's like, to me, it's like, I don't agree with it personally. But I'm like, if you're going to take that job, like obviously the studio is going to have as much control over a role like Supergirl. So, whatever. But I would have liked Meg Donnelly. But I think that's who they wanted, so that's cool. I don't want to talk about it too much because it's like I'm a 4-year-old dude talking about like a girl who's on a kid's musical. Like, why isn't she my Supergirl? But I'm sure I don't know Millie Alcock very. I don't know her shit very well at all, her acting stuff. So I don't really want to bemoan it because I'm like, oh, she's horrible. I have like literally no clue unless I saw her in some movie I'm not even aware of, which is highly possible. But I hope it. I'm curious. I'm curious who they get to direct it because I know it's a very different kind of thing. I don't have an idea of who. I don't know. I don't know that comic super well. I've seen drawings from it, so I don't really even want to give a suggestion because it'll be a shit suggestion. Probably. Part of me does think Ava DuVernay, but I don't think she's a studio director in that way, possibly. But maybe her and James Gunn would get along. I don't know. That's the only one I can think of. But a lot of the debate is, will it be a woman director or does it have to be a woman? I think in a post Barbie world that matters even more than it did. But I think we live in a Hollywood where unless like they really cannot get anybody, then I don't think it'll. Maybe if S.J. Clarkson hadn't done the Madam Web thing because she was such a prestigious TV director, I think she probably could have gotten it. But I don't know like what. I can't think of another female director. So there's not a lot, but like who would want to do Supergirl. But I also think Catherine Bigelow has. Bo is mildly concerned. Hasn't done anything in a while, so I think I don't know if you can get Catherine Bigelow back, that'd be pretty cool. I think she would do a good job. All right, so the director of Godzilla -1, Takashi Yamazaki, I think, or Yamazaki, I guess. But anyway. Sorry, we live in we don't, but he saw Oppenheimer, said he wanted to watch Oppenheimer so badly that he flew to Taiwan to see it with Chinese subtitles, and he said, this is his quote, I don't think Godzilla -1 is necessarily a direct response to it, although they point at similar themes. I think that is a good quote, and it's also like, it says something like, Christopher Nolan has not really said anything about Godzilla -1. Whereas this guy needs to say something about Oppenheimer. I think one of them needs to say something about it. They aren't really the same movie. Like, I don't think they were like, Oppenheimer's coming, so we need to make this. I just think it's like coincidentally. But I think someone needed to say something about it, basically. But I mean, I would think if they're going to do reaction to Oppenheimer, the next Godzilla, if they wanted to do that, it would have to be the next Godzilla movie, not -1. I do think it does share. I agree with that. And this was a very democratic one. He was like, he could have been like, yo, fuck you. We made a Godzilla movie and you made a movie about bombing Japan without any Japanese people. Like, I could see him getting offended. He handled that well, and I'm sure they're just trying to like get through the Oscar week and hope to get votes and stuff like that. So I hope it works out for him, but I think that was very democratically done. One, I also should bring up that tomorrow, I believe, is the last day to see Godzilla -1 theaters. I think they're pulling it afterwards. So if I don't know if it's like right now. I don't know if it's kind of late. So if you can go to a stream right now, but I would check if tomorrow is the last day. I highly recommend it. I would say do that tomorrow if you can. But it's apparently getting pulled from theaters after that. They're finally like, look, we kept extending it, but it's over. But it's still doing fucking well. It was in like the top 10. So, I have not seen in black and white. If I had more time, I would see it in black and white. I fucking would. But anyway, funny coincidence. True, Ramsey the Artist. It is a funny coincidence. So, I don't know if you know this, what year we're in. Because people have said, this is a superhero movie year. We're only getting one of the MCUs with the Deadpool 3. We're only getting one DC movie. Not really whatever you can think is a DC movie. I don't know. Oh, I actually did hear a stat from Box Office Guy that Aquaman 2 is the first DCEU movie, so the Batman doesn't count in this, to make over $400 million since the last Aquaman. Probably says something there. But, so this is the year, DC's just has a Joker movie. That's just in the Joker verse or whatever. And then you have Deadpool 3. But we're getting not one, not two, but three of the Sony Spider-Man universe movies. We're getting Madam Web, Craven, and Venom 3. That's right. 2024. If you're like 2020, I have hope for cinema in 2024. Don't worry. We're getting Morbius 3 times, baby. That's what's going on. There's an article about this. Basically, almost everyone thinks that stupid people will be like, well, I saw 3 Marvel movies. Marvel's desperate. Craven, Madam Web, and Venom 3. But this is an article in Variety basically talking about how the majority superhero universe this year is the Sony Spider-Man movies. It's kind of funny. That's really what it is. Hey, they give us Spider-Verse, but we also got to deal with this. In this article is where the infamous, I made fun of it, the Dakota Johnson thing about how she switched management companies after the trailer of Madam Web came out. Now, I will say about that is, first off, I find that funny because people are like, what does that say? And I'm like, did everyone think before this trailer, this was going to be a good movie? Was everyone like, it's going to be a hit though? Madam Web. Was anyone thinking that? Was there anyone thinking that at all? I don't think that was a thing that anyone thought. To be honest, she could have just been planning a move and then the trailer came out and it was just coincidence. We don't really know, but I do find it really funny that people are like, oh man, that raised some eyebrows. She might know something about Madam Web. Dakota Johnson might think that Madam Web is bad. And I'm like, didn't everybody think that? It's just such a weird, she might be onto something, guys. She might know that this isn't a good movie. I'm so lost on when people write these things. I'm like, I'm a little confused. What? Yeah, I love that. Let's take Dakota Johnson down for doing an obvious thing she probably should have done right after filming Madam Web. Unless you got paid well. I mean, I guess I get it then. Anyway, Nathaniel Focus said, which one will make more $1 billion? Now, let's be real. Nathaniel Focus, first off, cheers to you. We can do this in the chat. We always do this in comments. Obviously, Venom 3 is going to make the most. Let's be, in all seriousness, Venom 3 will make the most money. Fine. Here's the real question. Who do you think... You see the comment about the blue screen? What? What comment about the... What? I'm confused by that. But, hear me out on this. What do you think will make more money? Craven or Madam Web? In all seriousness, which one will make more money? That's the real question. I don't know what comment about the blue screen, but you mean how the special effects look bad? But yeah, let me know in the chat. What do you think will make more money, Madam Web or Craven? For real, because it's obviously Venom will actually make more money. All right, moving on. The Dark Universe is back, I guess. So here, the thing about this is, I like the internet keeps making fun of the Dark Universe. Everybody likes to make fun of the Dark Universe. It is everyone's favorite punching bag because they tried to make a cinematic universe and failed when they put out that picture, and they're very presumptive. Although I will say, Fox's X-Men universe put out a picture and half those movies didn't happen, and we never bring up that shit. Oh, Dakota Johnson when she was on SNL. Sorry. I guess that's where that's from. Everyone likes making fun of it. Even though, Blumhouse has already signed a deal. They made Invisible Man. They kind of stopped doing because Universal was do the monsters, but Blumhouse style. So, that is sort of the Dark Universe. I don't think they're going to cross over. But, there's going to be a werewolf one. There's going to be other ones that Blumhouse does. So, the Dark Universe sort of... is actually still happening in reality. I know people forget that because it They started it before the pandemic, and they haven't actually made another one, but they are working on it. But apparently, there's part of their Universal theme park says the Dark Universe, and showed pictures of like Dracula and the Wolfman, and I was joking the Invisible Man in one because you can't see him, haha. But basically, the Dark Universe will never die. But to clarify this, yes, it actually is still going on with Blumhouse, but it's not crossing over. So I just wanted to clarify that. But it is funny, like, they couldn't come up with a different name. Like, to me, it's like the Universal Monsters. Just call it the Universal Monsters. I don't know why, like, because that's what it is to me. Like, when it's Halloween, I usually show my daughter one of them, and I always call it's the Universal Monsters. So to me, it's always that. So you can call it whatever the fuck you want. Like, and it's not me being, like, defiant. It's just, why would I call it the Dark Universe? I'm not an idiot. So just call it the Universal Monsters. It's like, come on. Like, you don't even have the copyright of any of those things. Like, you just have the weird designs that you made. So, like, why call it? Is anyone like, oh, the Dark Universe? They're always snickering. Just call it the Universal Monsters. That's what it should be called. Anyway. So we have two kind of director. Oh, Gary, that is a good call. Bring back those sweet Pepsi Doritos Universal Monster tie-ins. I'm fine. I am for that, baby. Chris, we have two director statements. One is like, okay, and one is Tarantino. Christopher Nolan, on the scale of his movies, remember how he loves making these big movies. He won't direct smaller movies, although he likes like Past Lives, you mentioned, because he's able to do the scale of all of these big movies, and he likes the opportunity to do that. I think that's cool. One thing I do find interesting about Christopher Nolan is like when Spielberg was at his like apex post E.T., he sort of had to do small movies to be more critically recognized. It seems like if Spielberg had happened now, that would never happen in the same way. Whereas then he had to. And it's interesting, like Oppenheimer is like Nolan's big like prestige movie, but like, well, he also made a prestige movie called The Prestige. But it doesn't really feel like he slowed down. He's still Nolan. So it, like that couldn't happen in the 80s in the same way. And I think he sort of gets to take advantage of that. But it was kind of like, your usual kind of comments. But it was like, okay, we get it. You can. And I don't mind that he does. I don't hate him. I'm just not as obsessed as everyone else is. But then we got this thing from Quentin Tarantino saying that Robert Altman was kind of high all the time during McCabe and Miss Miller, and Warren Beatty really directed it. So I've known about this story for a long time, that when Tarantino met Robert Altman, who directed McCabe and Miss Miller, when McCabe and Miss Miller is a great movie, by the way. Hello, Daniel Bergen. And when he met Godard, both were sort of unimpressed by Quentin Tarantino, and he sort of like got less into their movies after that. Because I think everyone else was like, oh, he's the greatest, and these two dudes were like Robert Altman and Godard. Like, if there's anyone who you're never going to be able to impress, it was those two dudes. But yeah, they sort of kind of rolled their eyes at him, and he sort of got less into him. But he does this thing where like, this is very much a boomer thing, where you're like, well, man, Warren Beatty was involved, and he's such a creative genius. Well, on this channel, where I will review the Dick Tracy special that's ever made, I'm going to be honest, like, I have seen everything he has directed, like, because everyone always told me how smart and genius he was. I think he's a great producer. Like, Bonnie and Clyde couldn't happen. McCabe and Miss Miller probably couldn't happen without him and stuff. But he's not the director everyone acts like he is. Like, Reds is just a shit version. Reds is good, but like, Little Big Man did it better, which Little Big Man appears in The Holdovers, actually. But it does the same concept, but worse. Was it Heaven Can Wait is like not that good. I do like Dick Tracy. I have a fondness for Dick Tracy, but he's just riffing on Tim Burton's thing. He does a good job at it, but he's not the director that, like, he's not an amazing creative genius. And it's like, if you look at all his post-70s stuff, it's... Anyway, I think Warren Beatty's overrated as a director. I think he's overrated as an actor. If you look at an output after the 70s is not great. Like, it's like he had Reds, he won Best Director, and then he like kind of like just like chilled post the 80s. He makes Dick Tracy, he makes Bulworth, he made one of the biggest bombs of all time with Town and Country. That's one of the most notorious bombs that nobody talks about, but it's like a huge fucking flop. Anyway, and Rules Don't Apply. Man, Warren Beatty is just like, and I love Bonnie and Clyde. I love his '70s stuff, but then he just like didn't he wanted to make a live action Pokemon for a little bit. He was almost Bill and Kill Bill. Like Warren Beatty's just, I do not get the obsession. To me, it's like once you really get into him, like man, after a certain point, you are just like all fucking hype. Like it's cool if he doesn't want to do stuff. It's just like I don't get like the idea that like he's the great movie star. Like to me, like Nicholson is like the real interesting guy of that group. Like Beatty is like he's pretty, but like you know I like Ishtar. I like some of that stuff. I'm just like anyway. I don't get the Beatty thing, and I have seen like I think I've seen all of it to be honest with you. So I'm not a hater or anything like that. I'm the only thing I think I haven't seen Bugsy. He started late. I think that's enough, but whatever. I kind of like. I wish Tarantino wouldn't make statements. Remember when he'd like just come out and he'd say like, you know what's cool, Vanishing Point, and everyone who's a film dork would see Vanishing Point, and that was positive. And now all this shit is like, you know what sucked? All of the '80s, and you're like, all of the '80s, Tarantino. Like he's just. I really wish he didn't have a podcast. He's like, is this what it's gonna be like when he retires from directing? We just have to hear him hate on Marvel movies and stuff. It just seems like. I don't know. I like Tarantino. I like his movies, but like sometimes I'm like, we don't need a statement from you on, like, please don't become a critic. You're don't ruin the legacy. Like, just anyway. I mean, Nicholson did do some big Hollywood stuff, but like to me, it's like he did enough interesting stuff in his career with like odd, interesting directors. But I will say, like his later stuff, like what's the last what's his name? Who produced The Simpsons? Who did broadcast news and stuff? Who's that? James L. Brooks. He did his last movie was like the last James L. Brooks movie, which I didn't even see. But I can't think of his. It's just recently I've noticed he's been doing that a lot, and I'm just like, I wish he wouldn't. I would every now and then he'll have a good point, but like, doesn't he hate Boogie Nights because it's not porny enough? It's just like, dude, whatever. Anyway, Duncan Jones, and this is one that I sort of heard about, but Will, who's not here tonight, but maybe he's listening later. I don't know. Was like, you got to talk about Rogue Trooper, and I was like, all right. So Rogue Trooper is from Duncan Jones, son of David Bowie, whose credits also include Moon, Source Code. We're not going to talk about Warcraft and Mute. But this is an animated film, and it is made from 20 AD. If you're not familiar with 20 AD, I believe he does. Yes, that's James L. Brooks does on Gracie Films. So 20 AD is a kind of comic book who Judge Dredd came out of, other stuff as well, but Rogue Trooper is from it, and it has an insane cast. Haley Atwell, Daryl McCormick, don't know him as well. But the big thing is, okay, it tells the story of a genetic a genetic infantryman who finds himself the sole survivor of an invasion force. Desperate to track down the traitor who sold him and his comrades out, the super soldier is accompanied by 3 killed-in-action squad mates whose personalities have been stored in his gun, helmet, and rucksack. I don't know what a rucksack is. Anyway, that sounds really cool. I'm super into this. I think it's going to be really cool. Thank you, Will, for telling me about it. I think a Duncan Jones animated thing sounds neat. I didn't see his last thing, but Moon's pretty cool, and Source Code, I think, sort of gets forgotten about. But thank you, Will, for telling me about that. Always remind me of stuff, because I barely know what's going on. And then the other thing is this SNL 2075. Did I have this right? Sorry. Oh, I was worried about time, and I think SNL 75. Okay, SNL 1975. I am so sorry. Sorry. I'm not in love with this, and basically so if you didn't know, and I do bring this up too much, and I'm sorry, but Jason Reitman, basically what happened with him is he was being Jason Reitman, he was being a auteur guy, and supposedly, what we don't know who, but someone sat down with him like, look, this director career is sort of over unless you do a Ghostbusters. Everyone wants you to do a Ghostbusters. If you don't do a Ghostbusters, your shit's done, bro. And that's, I'm very much I mean, no one knows. Supposedly, like, it was either his agent or Sony, and said like your career's over unless you do this. And so that's why he directed the Ghostbusters movie. But he's not doing the sequel. However, he's making SNL 1975. And it's actually written with Gil Kenan, who did Monster House and is directing the next Ghostbusters. But he recently has been casting up people. He got some of these are good. Like he has Lamar Morris, Lamorne Morris, I think, who's not related to Garrett Morris. Everybody, Rucksack is a bag. Oh, that sucks if he like reincarnated as a bag. I think the reason, not just because he's black and Garrett Morris is black, is because they do have like a striking resemblance. It's like actually pretty cool casting. I can see him doing it from what I've seen him and stuff. Then we have Dylan O'Brien as Dan Aykroyd. We have Corey Michael Smith, not sure that guy, playing Chevy Chase, and Matt Wood playing John Belushi. Matt Wood's kind of undiscovered, although I don't know the other guy. I'm sort of not I know, like, what's it, the one guy from the Fablemans who was Spielberg Fableman, he's gonna be Lauren. Thing is like, I'm kind of getting sick of these, like, and legends were born on this biopic kind of crap, because I would just like an interesting biopic. I don't really want a dramatic retelling of some crap I've heard about in documentaries and Wikipedia pages all my life. Like, that doesn't sound very interesting to me. I also think Dylan O'Brien as Dan Aykroyd is, like, I almost want the guy who's playing Dan Aykroyd to Dylan O'Brien to switch with Corey Michael Smith who's playing Chevy Chase. I don't know about the whole thing, but I'm not in love with this project, and I do think Jason Reitman's sort of just playing off of his strengths at this point, like just trying to do it. But I think we'll see. Oh, okay, that's interesting. Cinerum says, how does the 75 cast compare to the cast of the new Michael Jackson biopic? I was going to talk about that next. So the Michael Jackson biopic, wait, who is, okay, actually, I didn't look this up, and I'm going to right now. Miles Teller news, because who is he in? Okay, so we've been hearing about this Michael Jackson biopic. And we do know that Coleman Domingo, right after Oscar nominations came out, we got that was going to be released, that he was going to be Michael Jackson's dad. We also know Neil Long is Michael Jackson's mother, and Jermaine, I think it's Jermaine's son, or Michael's nephew, is going to be playing Michael. The other thing about this, which I heard on a couple of podcasts and stuff, is this is a very highly budgeted film. It's about over $100 million. Now, I think, Bill Murray, the Bill Murray Chevy Chase movie wouldn't be in 75 because that happens later. But I know what you're talking about, but that doesn't happen in 75. But yeah, it's going to be over $100 million Michael Jackson movie. I think a lot of people, when you hear that, go like, Michael Jackson, like, what the fuck? Here's the thing, like, regardless of the HBO documentary, regardless of everything else, Michael Jackson's still a huge, huge artist. To me, doing a straight biopic is not the greatest thing. I actually had a film teacher, and maybe I've said this somewhere before. Oh man, I just realized something. Anyway, sorry. With, where was I? Sorry, I just realized I didn't watch something I meant to watch. Sorry. Oh, yeah. When I took a film class, a film teacher actually said, "Hey, Austin," that he was talking about Citizen Kane. He said the only person who could make a movie like Citizen Kane about now was Michael Jackson. And I think about that a lot. Like, that would be like, you just switch people out. You could actually take out the opera singer thing and make that about Lisa Marie. Maybe you could. I don't know. Not that Lisa Marie did have hits by herself without Michael Jackson. Not that she didn't actually have any hits with Michael Jackson. You could do interesting things with that. I think you could make an interesting thing of Michael Jackson. They do really want this to be a huge hit, but I think I don't know. I know Anton Fuqua's doing this and stuff, and Miles Teller's gonna play one of the lawyers, and I'm just like, I think it could only work if you were gonna be like, I'm just gonna do the Quincy years, which I think are the biggest ones, or you do an interesting one. But if you're just doing a straight biopic, that seems pretty fucking dull to me. So, okay, I'm realizing now today was crazy, and there's a few trailers I did not get to watch. So, the A24 Julia Dreyfus and Calamity Jane, I think I will talk about next week. I'm gonna remember those for next week. I'm sorry about that. I was gonna do this whole trailer section, and I'm realizing I'm fucking stupid. Okay, that's embarrassing. Why did I? All right, so Monkey Man. Let's talk about the Monkey Man trailer. I think. Oh, am I gonna get to everything? Possibly. Well, we'll see. Maybe this worked out. So the Monkey Man trailer. This is a dev. Man, I wanted to watch that Calamity Jane thing, and it fucking. Anyway, apologies. There's only so many hours in a day, unfortunately, and I don't have them working out for me ever. But that's a good point. Chan talks about movies. Talked about the there's a miniseries. I hope. Yeah, hope next week isn't a busy news week. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Anyway, so the Monkey Man trailer. Monkey Man, I don't think anyone, if we had heard about, I think it'd been a while, but Dev Patel, who directs and stars in this, and is a producer on it, I'm not sure if we read it. It's basically like a martial arts movie starring Dev Patel. It looks really cool, and supposedly it was going to be a Netflix thing until they were going to basically not release because of things with the Indian government, I believe. And now Jordan Peele stepped in and got it to get an actual theatrical release. It looks really cool. It comes out on April 5th. It's just like sometimes he's like wearing a monkey mask, sometimes he's not, and he's doing like cool kicks and fights and stuff. It looks honestly like a movie I'm very much anticipating. Like I never thought it was coming out. It just like looks like such an amazing thing. You know what? How about this? We can. I didn't watch the Despicable Me 4 trailer. Really, the clips I saw was like it looks like a Despicable Me movie. Whatever. All right. How about this? I'm gonna look up Calamity Jane trailer. We will. I'll live react to the. I don't know what this is. It's a Tubi thing, so let's hold on. But anyway, Monkey Man looks great. It's awesome that Jordan Peele did that. I think it's cool that he's getting a film out there that we otherwise wouldn't get. But let's. Okay.
Doesn't matter.
Should I have the sound on for this? How about I'll have the sound on? All right. He has a baby. That's all that matters. Oh, yeah. All right. We're gonna do. I'll do a live react to Calamity Jane because this was like a thing. It's on Tubi. I'm sure Tommy Tubi will want me to watch it. It says Tubi Films. So I'm gonna start. If you want to watch it with me, let's watch. Well, I will actually live react to only Calamity Jane, not Despicable Me 4. We don't need that. Calamity Jane needs the press. Let's see. Stephen Amell. Oh, he's in this? Good for him. All right, here we go. Calamity Jane. Oh, she's.
Tell me what your name is.
It's.
What's your name?
Ooh, that's not her name. She's shooting people.
Imagine a lot comes along with a name like Calamity.
History doesn't remember Jane.
What?
I love you. Wild Bill. Jack McCall.
You shot Bill. Step aside, Deputy. He dies.
Here and now. He'll stand trial.
That's some acting right there. Is it based off the cartoon?
For revenge, you better build 2 graves. One for them and one for yourself.
I'm gonna kill Jack McCall.
Don't throw your life away.
What life?
There's too many of them.
Oh, okay, that's true. I don't want to get a copyright strike. Well, I watched her fight stuff. Her Justice, it says. Oh, she's coming out. Is it like a revenge thing? Should I review this? When does this come out? Yeah, I don't want to deal with that copyright stuff. Emily. Ooh, she has a... When does this come out on Tubi? Does it say? Oh, release February 2nd. Oh, in theaters and on digital. Yeah, but I don't want to watch that in theaters. I want to watch it in Tubi, like Tommy Tubi intended. And where... Why did you become why did you never become a reaction channel? I don't know. I have wanted to do a bit where I watch someone react to something and they're like cheering and I'm like incredibly bored, and I haven't had the opportunity to do it yet. Oh, they're both on the Arrow show. Okay. I don't know. How about this? When Calamity Jane comes to anyway, when Calamity Jane comes to Tubi, I will be open to review. Someone tell me when it's actually on Tubi. I don't want to review Tubi movies in the theaters. That's inappropriate. That's not the way it's all intended. But yeah, I've long wanted to make a video where like that Soups guy on TikTok or something is like freaking out, and I'm just like barely caring about it. I always find reactions weird because like, thanks, Conroy. I like that. Tommy Tubi intended to be watched on his phone. I always find it weird because like when I watch something, I'm like watching it. I'm not thinking of like perform. Like this is like I'm talking, like I'm engaged in this right now. If I'm watching something, like do they like? That's obviously not their initial reaction. Like they've probably watched a few times and have like cues and like work something out. Like I find it very hard to believe that these people like that's their dry run first time watching something. Like I've only really done one reaction. It's like a Force Awakens trailer came out while we were doing the POS podcast. This is the only time I've really done it for reals. I don't know if Paleo still has that up or anything, but I find all that so strange because they're obviously not reacting to it, right? I mean, that's to me that's what's going on. All right, so I got some requests for this, but Pharrell is making a biopic, and it's basically it combines Universal's deal with, well, it's Focus Features. Let's say that it's Focus Features, which is Universal, and is directed by a guy who made 20 Feet from Stardom. But it's also, it's like, okay, it's Pharrell's life story through Legos. So this is like the first thing Universal's done with the Lego thing is to make a Pharrell movie, which I find to be very odd. Like, I don't know. I don't think of Pharrell with that. I mean, people have called Pharrell before on his like sort of nerdiness and like how like he's like super. He named his thing Star Trek and like brings up Star Trek a lot, but doesn't seem to like know anything about it. I've heard that brought up for him before, and sometimes will like co-opt these things because he thinks they're cool. I hope that's not the case. I am interested in someone like doing some, like I said with the Michael Jackson thing. If he's doing something different with the biopic, awesome. I think that's great. I just like don't, when I think Pharrell, I don't think Legos, but I'm like open to it because I like the Neptunes a lot actually. I think they're really, even like he did a thing with Run the Jewels where I was like, oh, you like actually you're kind of interesting, or like all he did with the clips and all that stuff. But anyway, so I did talk about a thing that broke. Well, first let's talk about Kate McCushie, who did who's doing something based on a Keen Spot comic. Was Keen Spot? Am I wrong? Is that the RPG World thing? Let me look it up. RPG World, right? Yeah. No, is Keen Space then? I'm pretty sure that's Keen Spot. Yeah, it is. Okay, that's interesting. Didn't realize that. I was like, that's where I know Keen Spot, and I was right. Anyway, half of the is it Garfunkel and Oates thing? She is based on this Keen Spot comic book, which called Toy. And it sounds kind of like a cool idea. It's also being attached from a anyway, Keen Spot RPG World's Ian, if you didn't know. If I had to explain that. But it's anyway, it's from a Gumball creator and her. It sounds like a cool idea. But the toy follows the adventures of a floppy-eared inventor of the same name who also happens to be, you guessed it, a toy. He has two friends, at least two friends. An ever-eating crocodile, a skillful human girl who helped defeat the small town of Rockledge against the mechanics of evil Kitty Cat CEO Lily Buttercup. Jealous of Toy's invention ability, Lily will do anything to show him up, even build a ginormous mech suit so she can personally destroy his hometown. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Oh, okay. Keen Space was the free hosting service. Keen Spot is the premium service. It didn't used to be like that back in the day. I will say that. All right. So we got a couple things. I think probably two things, and then we're going to take a break because I do have two segments. I didn't make it. I should have mentioned it before, but I'm doing the pilot of Family Guy because it's the 25th anniversary today. And Pikachu's Rescue Adventure? I saw it and I can never remember the stupid name of this thing. Pikachu's Rescue Adventure. There we go. I am going to talk about those. Those are going to be the segments tonight. But let's talk about what happened. These broke today. We got 28 years later is at Sony. Now one of the things, the 28 years later package, I guess, which we kept hearing how they're going to be a trilogy and they're selling, Alex Garland and Danny Boyle are selling this thing. Supposedly Cillian Murphy is signed on as executive producer. Many are wondering, is he going to star in it? I would say he's waiting for the Oscars because his rate will go up a lot if he wins. And so I'm sure his agents are like, we're not signing shit until the Oscars. So I sort of am a little more in the idea that Giamatti will win, but he does have a good chance. So I understand that. But one of the other things that Jeff Snyder pointed out and other reporters are pointing out is that everyone thought 28 years later would wind up at Warner Brothers, and it wound up at Sony, and many people are believing that because the Ryan Coogler vampire thing with Michael B. Jordan, people believe that wound up at Warner Brothers, and he signed probably an insane deal to get it. And there's a huge deal to get that to get the Ryan Coogler vampire thing over and obviously the 28 years later thing would go to someone else. So that's basically the deal. That's what people are reading into. We'll see if we hear about the Ryan Coogler supposed vampire thing. We don't really know, but everyone thinks it is. The other thing is we learned that they're going to make a Fast and Furious movie between Fast and Furious 10 or X, which came out this year, and Fast and Furious 11, which will be sort of a bridge. It will not. Everyone heard it was going to be Hobbs and Reyes. We're not sure what that will be. It's just sort of like this mystery movie that will connect the two. I'm assuming to possibly take care of a lot of the narrative bullshit so they can have a more down-to-earth Fast 11. But if you care about Fast and Furious, that came out tonight. And let's do one more. Two more things. Or three more things. Studio Ponak, who did Mary and the Witch's Flower, and are several of the people who sort of bounced from Studio Ghibli when it looked like Miyazaki was not coming back. And even though a lot of them worked on their Borrower's Riff. What was that called? The Secret World of Arrietty. A lot of them worked on that, and I think if Miyazaki and Studio Ghibli had developed them, they could have stayed there, but they didn't do that because Studio Ghibli is like super bad at making anyone's movies who aren't Miyazaki and Takahata. So anyway, but Studio Ponak has signed a deal with Netflix, which will very much help them out. I realized they had movies past Mary and the Witch's Flower, which I've totally missed, but now if they're on Netflix, I of course will watch them. So I think this will very much work for them. They need to find their own identity. They need to work out. I think the director of Arrietty, who also did Mary and the Witch's Flower, I think he could do something else to be interesting, but it does seem like with Arrietty, Miyazaki wrote that and worked on that to a certain degree, and maybe that was actually why the movie was so good, because Mary and the Witch's Flower, I've seen it actually since. I don't think it's very good, so it's not really my favorite. So I hope this works out for them, and I hope they're able to make a cool movie out of it. As well, that story got kind of forgotten about. So the Day the Earth Blew Up poster came out. We keep saying it's coming out in the fall, but there's no release date. So what's going on with that? And it's like such a weird thing with the Day the Earth Blew Up that I'm a little like worried about it, and I hope the Coyote vs. Acme thing didn't mess up its release date, but we'll see. And we got our first look of Among Us from Owen Dennis. I'm hoping I don't know Among Us very well, but I like Owen Dennis, so I hope that works out. All right, so I'm going to put up a picture of me and Cinram, which means I'm going to take a break. When we get back, I mean, I want the Day the Earth Blew Up to work, but when we get back, we're going to do the Family Guy review of the pilot, and then, or at least the first episode. I hope I reviewed the right one. I reviewed an early Family Guy, and then Pikachu's Rescue Adventure, and then we'll do questions. I plan to end at 12:35. And yeah, Jim said, I said the thing? What did I say? Anyway, Among Us? I don't know. Anyway, try to leave what your 2023 movie would be below if you haven't done that. I'm curious what movie you think I should review, because I'd like to know. I want to. I legit want to like start curating what this is, and maybe I'll see it in time. Otherwise, I won't. Anyway, I'm just gonna use the bathroom. This has gone well. I like tonight's show. You guys have been very nice, so thank you all for being here. It's a meme. Who's a meme? Meme? Anyway, let me. Okay, I'm confused. Clearly, where are we? Okay, I'm going to put the image up of me and Cinram. When it is not up, that means I'm back for a break. I'm just going to use the bathroom. Thank you all for being here. Thank you, everyone who's given a super chat so far. I'll be right back to talk about the pilot of Family Guy. I'll see you real soon in a couple minutes. So hang tight. I am back. Hold on. Whoa. I need to make a break. Like, we'll be right back. Little image thing. At some point. I think that would be cool. Anyway. Alright. Sorry, I'm just reading the... Oh, it looks like about... I need to... Well, I guess I do. I guess YouTube considers this a podcast, so... Austin says, saying Among Us is a meme. Oh, it is. Okay, saying Among Us is a meme. P.S. I'm going to go to bed. Okay, first off, cheers to you, Austin. Have a good night. Thank you for being here. And it is officially, guys, it is officially February. We're in February. We just went through a whole month of February. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? It's February. Oh, what poster? It's The Third Man from one of the re-release. It was a re-release in the 20-somethings. But yeah. I need to watch The Third Man again. Third Man's one of those movies. I think like Jaws, Third Man, Akira, 400 Blows. I don't know. I could never do a favorite thing. Public Enemy. I have thought if I was going to do that letterbox thing where you got to pick 4 movies, what I would pick, and I would probably pick. I know I'd pick Public Enemy from the 30s, James Cagney, William Wellman, Jaws, Pink Flamingos, and I'm never sure what to do for 4. I'm like, it should probably be like Kiki, or it should be a Pixar, or should it be Dumbo, which is my favorite Disney, or should it be, and I'm like, or should it just be Manos Hands of Fate, the Mystery Science Theater episode? I'm never... Okay, so someone's got an hour left to January. Live it up. This future in February, man, it's looking fucking bleak. No, but anyway, I always get confused like what to do for 4. But I know Pink Flamingos, Public Enemy, and Jaws would be my 3. But I don't know what the 4th one would be. Maybe 400 Blows? Maybe Third Man? Maybe Akira? See, the 4th one gets confusing. I would need more than 4. I need a lot more. Anyway, let's get into Family Guy, the pilot episode, or I actually don't know. What is this episode? Wait, where'd the notes out? Sorry. My notes disappeared. I was like, wait, what's going on? What's up? All right. I'll drink some water, actually. Sudberg, that's weird. All right. Let's talk about, because it is today, or maybe not today anymore, but it used to be. Wait, is there like something in my... It's a piece of trash. Okay. So today, in honor of the 25th anniversary of Family Guy, I wanted to review the first episode, which premiered after the Super Bowl, actually, which is kind of unusual now. It doesn't happen a ton. That used to be what the post-Super Bowl slot would be. It's actually the Wonder Years premiered after the Super Bowl, the first episode. The A-Team did. Certain big successful shows. There were a lot of shows that were not big and successful. And I guess Family Guy sort of was that in its first initial run. I did not see this when it aired after the Super Bowl. I was probably being a teen listening to my Discman or something. So I have no clue what I was doing, but I didn't watch it then. However, Watching this episode was interesting, but what this episode is Peter Griffin goes out for a night of drinking with his friends. He has a job at a toy factory as quality control, and or to make sure kid or safety inspector or something. Sorry, he got drunk the night before, so he was very sleepy and hungover, and then because he did that, a lot of these dangerous toys got out, and they had to fire him. But he didn't want to tell Lois, so he signed up for welfare, and then the welfare office ends up not sending him $150 a week; they send him $150,000 a week, and he's suddenly very rich because of a accounting error with the welfare office. I think watching this now, I haven't watched older Family Guy in a bit. I've watched random episodes and they're fine, but watching these ones, it took me back to when these episodes were new. And when these episodes were new, I very much remember being shocked at all the cutaways, thinking it was amazing, being like, this is the greatest thing in the world, and like often it would like catch you off guard all the time. Watching it now, in the 25 years later, I'm so used to this format that none of it feels unexpected. Now, granted, I had seen this episode a ton of times, so I knew every joke, and this is one I liked a lot, so I did that. But I will say particular gags in this really work. The Stewie Lois thing is interesting because I'm never sure. I think at the beginning, and I remember not being sure if other people could talk to Stewie. It's like one of those things, like, you know, like people weren't sure if Wolverine actually had claws coming out of his his actual hands, or if they were gloves, kind of thing. And it's like not a thing the creators came up with that the fans do. I also Cornbread, I thought at first this was the Norm Macdonald death one, but it's not, apparently. So I kept wondering, like, does that come in later? And it doesn't. So I think it's like that, but it isn't. Stewie is like kind of a different kind of, he's like a side plot character in this. But the main thing is about Peter and welfare and stuff like that. But I do remember, like, since I didn't watch this on Super Bowl, but I'd heard from so many people, and I think Ian told me this once, that like when they watched the Kool-Aid Man break into the court, they fell on the ground laughing. I do remember the first time I saw that, I was like laughing hysterically. I didn't have the funny, like, I don't know, I didn't have the like shock post Super Bowl thing, which is probably more fun because you're all like watch a Super Bowl and you're all hopped up on junk food and stuff. But I did remember watching it later. See, Family Guy used to, I think it really hit its stride with me. Like, I watched some of them on Sunday, but like when I'd randomly watch that 70s show, it would always be on afterwards, and that's where I discovered it back in the day. But I did like the one Family Guy joke in this that I liked, where Peter's in jail and he goes, "Oh man, they're right about don't drop the soap in jail. I look like an idiot." And it's like that the joke is that he has butterfingers. It's not, that was funny because it is an actual diversion in it, as well as he does the Von Trapp family singers joke in a different way, but the same reference to the scene that he did at the Oscars, which I thought that's very funny. But it is weird watching this now, because I do remember when I was like a teenager, and this felt exciting and different, and it just does not have that vibe anymore. It is still fun and funny, and I still laughed at it, and I think the cutaways, though, are aggressive in terms of what they're doing. It feels like the show is written like I don't give a shit. I'm going to do as many cutaways and have all these gags, and it's going to like, it doesn't matter if it connects. We're just going to be funny. And I do think that really works in this. I can understand, like, if this is your first, I mean, it's a lot of people's first Family Guy, why it made you like love the show, because it did feel like, whoa, where's this coming from? What's this? And like, I didn't expect this. Like, I think one of the best things about one of the things that makes a comedy explode and take over is like it feels so unexpected. But the problem is with comedy, when it becomes unexpected, is eventually what was unexpected becomes expected, and then the freshness and newness to it goes away. That doesn't mean this isn't funny. I'm not trying to say it's not. It is very funny, and I do really like it, actually. But it is weird seeing it now. It felt very different. The other thing I should mention is Lacey Chabert is the voice of Meg in this, who would go on to be in Mean Girls. At the time, I think they cast Mila Kunis, as Meg because she was a Fox star and they're on Fox. But Lacey Chabert was also a Fox star because she was ending. Party 5 was still running at the time. She did decide not to do this because she was doing schoolwork and Party 5 and Family Guy and walked away after the first season. But I don't like her version as much as Mila Kunis. I think Mila Kunis is a lot better with Meg, to be honest with you. I but whatever. I think this is a really funny episode. I like it sort of, I don't know. One thing I like about this episode is it both gets like how sort of shitty it would be to take that kind of money from the welfare office, but how immediately you'd be like, I mean, whose fault is it really? It's like it's actually pretty good at getting the line on that, and I sort of get like how an empire was born after this. I do remember, I think a Simpsons episode aired after that, but it's kind of interesting because it feels like Fox, both as they ran it, lost complete faith in it, but also gave it the greatest lead-in ever. And I totally get wanting to give this the greatest lead-in ever because it does feel fresh and different, but also feels, it's a family animated sitcom. How different is that ultimately? But I do get why this was so explosive and different, and it was nice being reminded of why we all liked Family Guy in the first place. And as we're talking about Seth MacFarlane again, with the TED Show and him writing, kind of reminded why he exploded in such the way he did, because by the end of this first season, everyone in my high school loved Family Guy. And this is, the Fox years, not before Adult Swim, but I get like if you stumbled upon this, it's really hard to look away from it and not watch it. It really sucks you in. And I think if anything, like that's why Family Guy became such it is, because the cutaways happen in such an aggressive way. You're never sure what's going to come up next. And even though I'd seen it, I forgot like the soap bit, like the weird Aunt Jemima thing in the beginning. But like there's all sorts of like weird bits in this that you're never like, or the Joni Loves Chachi joke at the end. Like, you just like so many weird things that it keeps you on the edge, that it makes you intrigued on what's happening more. And I sort of like was reminded of the appeal of the show that I sort of lost touch with over the years. And kind of made me come back and appreciate why it's still going and could have fans all this time based on this, the great start that Family Guy had with its pilot. Oh, okay, that's true, Cornbread. I don't mention this. Well, the climax doesn't happen as a Super Bowl. They do. I will say the one thing about the Super Bowl thing, it takes place. There's a scene that takes place during the Super Bowl, is the part where John Madden's like, they're ruining a perfectly good game of football. I remember that was really funny at the time, but it wasn't the climax. It's like happens anyway. No, it's okay. Thank you. I don't. By the way, I don't actually mind when people point out stuff because I very much need help with everything. It's always hard to do stuff. So, all right, let's. I'm gonna take, because it's late. It's almost empty. If anyone wants to get their last super chat in, now is the time. So, because I reviewed Pokemon 2000 or Pokemon the movie 2000, I'm going to review the short that goes along with it, much like I did with Pokemon the first movie and whatever that short was. I reviewed it, so who cares? Just One Fox. See, there's too many I forgot about Just One. See, the Just One Fox thing, I totally forgot about. That was a real slogan at the time. Anyway, so Pikachu's Rescue Adventure played before Pokemon 2000. In fact, if you look at the trailers, there's certain shots of this that are in the trailers for Pokemon 2000, which is not a lie because you would see it before the movie, but is not Pokemon 2000. So I guess it's like yes, but also no. Anyway, so there are clips of this in my review of Pokemon 2000 inadvertently. So this is similar to the last one, where it's just Pokemon talking and Meowth is the only one who really speaks English. But basically, Pokemon, Pikachu is hanging out with like Ash and all those people who you don't really see, goes through a tunnel, winds up in this Pokemon land, which is also outside. It's not really underground, so you question, is this just like a block away from that? But whatever. Um, and they have an adventure basically. And first off, I want to say, like, this is, I actually didn't look this up, but Pikachu meets this other random Pokemon who is an electricity Pokemon. I'm sure people in the chat will correct me. So they're hanging out. They're just like, they say it's a rescue adventure. It just seems like they're chilling. And then the weather comes. And like, look, this is like a fine little dumb short or whatever. The weather comes. And then Pikachu and this other, whatever this Pokemon is, decide like, no, I'm not going to let the weather ruin my day. We're going to fight lightning. And you're like, wait, what? And they are using their electricity powers to fight the lightning storm, which then become Illithid. That's interesting. Okay. Illithid, whatever. And Pikachu decide they're going to fight lightning, which then starts a forest fire. So good one on that. But like, that is the most random, weird thing about this short is like, we are literally going to fight weather. Like, did Thor ever do that? Did anyone? They're like, nah, dude, we got this. Which they don't. It doesn't help anything. It's a terrible idea. Like, don't, you know, people say don't fight City Hall. Like, you shouldn't. That's a bad idea. But the other one is like, if you didn't think of this, don't fight the weather because you will lose against the weather. Illithid? Anyway, you will never be able to beat weather. I've never seen a show where someone's like, oh man, we finally tamed weather. Look at how great we are. That has never worked out in any media ever. It's not going to work out for you. I'm pretty sure if you did in real life, not going to work. But anyway, Pikachu and his buddy, Elekid, Electric Kid, Elekid? Anyway, now you're seeing why Ryan Wilson helps me with every show ever pronunciation. But it's, anyway, that part is kind of funny. They come back to Ash and all them who are presumably taking a nap, and it didn't rain on them for some reason. And, you know, they go about their day. The thing with these is, let's say you're a parent and you're like, oh man, I better take my kid to this Pokemon movie. They love the Pokemon. And then this short comes on and half of them are talking Pokemonese or Pokemonish or whatever the Pokemon language is, and half of them are saying Pikachu and Bulbasaur and like all their dumb names. I'm gonna be honest, like that would drive me fucking insane if I was these parents. It's like, just try to do the right thing. I sort of know who Ash is. This will be fine. I'll bear with it. And this comes on, I sort of get why like these started making less money, because parents are like, oh, I have to deal with another stupid short for these fucking movies. Like, it's like, this is very much like, you've seen Rugrats. This is the land without smiles territory right here. If you're like not into Pokemon, you don't know who any of these people are. You're like, oh my god, I can't. How am I going to deal with this? Oh my god. It's just like, I feel bad for everyone who's like having to who are just like, oh, this is my week with my kid, we're gonna watch this, or I'm sure they're like, kid, I gotta go out and get a cigarette. Like, I guarantee you, their parents who didn't smoke are like, I just, this is too much for them. I had fun with it, but I feel bad for your parents who had to deal with it. I get that people find them cute. They're fine. I found this one to be a little more fun than the last one, but it's I don't know. I think it sort of pushes it a little to have these shorts. I think they're fine for a VHS release, but you're really asking a lot of the audiences who's going to be doing that. So we'll see. But anyway, that is Pikachu's Rescue Adventure, a fun little weird avenue in Pokemon history where Pikachu tried to fight the weather and I guess lost or won, but he did do it, and that is I don't know, I'll never have the ego enough to fight the weather. the ways our proud boy Pikachu does. Remember the frozen short before Coco, Mandela Butterfly. Oh my god. People don't even believe me that happened now. They're like, that sounds horrible. Who would do that? And they go, well, I saw it and it was horrible. It really pissed me off. Like, I think, wasn't that like that frozen short was my second worst movie of that year? Oh my god. I still hate that fucking Christmas special because my kids watch it. I'm like, I hate this fucking stupid ass. Like, what the fuck? I want to watch Coco. Anyway, Hello Mandela Butterfly. I don't know if I'll see One Love. It does not look good. Maybe it will be, but we'll see. All right, so I'm going to do questions below. Hold on. Questions below. And I'm going to do the Patreon questions first. First, we have Jordan Bouchard says, what's your favorite assortment of breakfast food to have? I usually have... I have a bagel every day. That's kind of my thing. I'd say bacon, egg, and cheese is also up there. Although it's been a little bit since I've had a bacon, egg, and cheese. They're not really healthy. So I'd say something like that. So I'd say, Vidal say we need a Coco before Frozen 3. I would agree with that. It's only fair. Give us that. All right. Nathaniel Focus says, what is the greatest January movie of all time? Well, I want to say The Beekeeper because that's one I enjoyed. And Megan, I think we've had actually 2 banger January movies. Mandela Butterfly. Thank you very much. I'm going to like that. Cheers to you, Mandela Butterfly. Cheers to you. It's good to see you, by the way. But I want to almost say Megan and Beekeeper. But... because they used to be way worse. It's like not as bad as it used to be. I sort of don't like people bringing "fuck you" it's January as much because it's not like it was like in the 2010s. Yes, but we all know what the ultimate January movie is. And I don't know if you were setting me up for this, Nathaniel Foga, but obviously it's Monster Trucks. We got to go with Monster Trucks. We got to go with Creech, my boy Creech. Got to be Creech. So we're going to go with Monster Trucks on that. Everybody in the chat can be like, yeah, you talked about Creech. All right. Austin, who's asleep, said, hey, Jim, what a great show. Hopefully I'm still awake. You're not. And luckily after this question, I should go to bed. Don't worry. You already are. I got to wake up early tomorrow. Oh, I'm sorry about that. Anyway, my question is looking back, what was some bad years for Best Picture for Oscar? For me, it's 2011, The Artist, which won, The Descendants, Moneyball, Warhorse, The Help, Extremely Loud, Incredibly Close, Midnight in Paris, Tree of Life, and Hugo. I would actually... well, Tree of Life getting nominated was a big deal. And Hugo's, I think, better than we'll give it credit for. I'd say that one is pretty... 1999, I think, has gone down as a worse Oscar year than it should have been. Because it's like... people... like, the movies they nominated are like... not like what that year was remembered for. Because, well, first off, they didn't do The Matrix, which I think became sort of a stupid idea for them. It really fucked up everything for the Academy, because it looks like they should have nominated that. And I think the only one that got a lot of attention was American Beauty. Yeah, that was a bad year. It's like you could have done Princess Mononoke, you could have done Three Kings, you could have done Run Lola Run, you could have, like, there's so many options. Election, like, there's so many. It's hard to justify the 5 they picked at all. I would say that's actually the worst one, because I remember that year was such an amazing year. And like Being John Malkovich got a Best Director nomination, but not a Best Picture, which I also think is stupid. Magnolia, was American Movie. I don't know if that was 99 or 2000. That was also good. South Park, like, yeah, they give it to a lot of bullshit. Although Boys Don't Cry was pretty good. Maybe it's not. It's been a while, but I remember it being good. So I would say 99. All right, let's get through the questions we have. Let's see how many I can get through. I'm feeling okay. Zane Power says, thoughts on the claim that people enjoy media more when they are spoiled about it ahead of time. I think there's a certain degree of that because, like, Titanic did well and we all knew how that was going to end. So I think there's a degree of that, but I don't think it works all the time. I think it works depending on what the story is. It works. Cornbread asks, you've been saying this for months. I want to know if this changes your mind. What would be better for Oscars? Godzilla suit or giant Godzilla hand with big envelope like King Kong in 2006? I think that was in the 70s, but I see what you're saying here. Sorry. I think Godzilla's suit would be fun, but the big hand thing is pretty cool. Man, the YouTube scrolls for me have not been working. Like, it just never. Anyway, it's like hard to like scroll down on any YouTube thing lately, and I don't know what the deal's with that because I have this. Anyway, sorry, I'm having a little trouble to. It's not letting me scroll, so now I gotta. Okay. I went way too far up. Okay. Okay, sorry. Blocks the Axel. What's the one show you absolutely never want to see remade or rebooted? Maybe Freaks and Geeks, probably. Cineram says an actor can be in a movie but on a TV show. How funky is that? Yeah, that's true. You would never say on a movie. Keanu Reeves is not on The Matrix. Why is that? That is interesting, actually. What's the deal with that? Huh, I wonder. Jordan Sloffo, do you think Bradley Cooper has potential to become the next Warren Beatty? Yes, and I also think the thing with Bradley Cooper, and I was thinking about him, is like it's so weird where we are with him because I feel like how he became a star with The Hangover is very much more naturalistic, and then we get like all this stuff of him, like kind of. It's hard to of him being like Mr. Actor person showing his versatility, but I think he forgets like that's not why he's famous. He's famous for naturalism or being Rocket Raccoon. I feel like he doesn't understand his own appeal, which I think Warren Beatty sort of did, but I can sort of see it where like eventually he'll be so far removed from the movie star stuff, people are like, why did we like him? And I can see that happening, much like Warren Beatty. Cornbread says, question, the Aqua Teen Light Bright Boston incident being 17 years and a day now because of our time zone. I must ask if you celebrate this holiday and what you do to honor it. I mean, I did repost it on Instagram, so I guess that's what I did. That's probably the only thing I did there for it. Okay, St. Powers, given Citizen Kane wasn't the exact story of Rudolph Hearst, what names and details would be changed in a Michael Jackson Citizen Kane thing? I'm sure there'd be a lot of it. I'd be curious who would be his friend, because he doesn't really have, like maybe the Miles Teller character of the lawyer or something, or you could have Quincy Jones or like the people they're interviewing. That would be the real interesting thing. I think you'd have to invent someone probably, so... Al Vasquez, why was Jake Gyllenhaal acting so crazy on his indie movie set? I've always heard he's a little funky, so I think that was... Sorry I didn't talk about that too much, but I think he's just a weirdo. Some of them were funny, and then some of them were not funny. But like the thing, like he always had to go in, he jumped in the water because he had to or something. That was so weird. Not possible. Did you ever see the Slipknot sketch? Oh my god, I did. Where they play Did you ever see the Slipknot sketch where they played air traffic controllers and it's on Conan 9/7/2001 show? Oh, no, but I'm curious about that. I did love the Slipknots because, like, yes, we're the Slipknots, we're slipping on nuts. Oops, we fell down. We tripped on some nuts. Like, that was funny. And I heard Slipknot, the band, actually thought it was... that was a good one. Anyway. Nathaniel Fogel, what movie are you looking forward to this year? Let's just say Furiosa, because I am. Worst Tarantino take, Cineram. Or not Cineram. Sorry, I don't know why I did that. Zane Powers. I don't like when he just like goes like all of this stinks, which he does with comic movies, he does with the 80s. It's just like I feel like he's a smarter person than that. It just feels like so reductive in a lot of ways. Pup says, had you ever tried to get a voice cameo in one of Ian's cartoons? Sorry if personal. Yes. And I'm not fully sure the deal with that. it seemed to be because Knock Force was not a kids cartoon, and I think there's a lot of worry because it wasn't of it being referenced in OKKO and stuff, so it never worked out. But I did, when it was brought up, I'd always ask, and we did have like a talk about it, but it didn't work out, unfortunately. But I wish it had, but I did try. And him and I guess his people seemed to be cool with me when it was brought up on Pizza Party, and it was kind of like I was sort of put in the position where it's like we had to talk about it, and he wasn't like. Anyway, it was a weird thing basically, but I did pursue it, but it was sort of like it was not necessarily I asked, it was sort of like because it came up on that Pizza Party episode, we sort of had to at least discuss it, and it didn't really go anywhere, unfortunately. I wish it had. I sort of think that sucks, but it seemed to be more of a network thing, but I don't really know. I just know it didn't work out. But we did go into it, and it's because of the Pizza Party, because I think it came up in a weird way where I had to like say something right there, or people would be asking me questions about it. So anyway, that's sort of how it went down. But it didn't work out, but I did talk about it. I don't mind answering that. Sorry, Pop. I hope that didn't get weird. Bloxy Oxywinkle, what's the one movie or show you really want to see remade or rebooted? I don't know. I was thinking about this with Little Shop of Horrors recently. Anyway, sorry, revealed something, I guess. I wouldn't mind Bucket of Blood, actually. I'm going to say, although they tried that and that didn't work, so. I guess it doesn't matter to me which it is, just if you have a good take on it. I wouldn't mind The Exorcist Believer. Like, if you got that ending to work, it bugs the fuck out of me, because it's a cool ending if you build to it. Anyway, question, what's a film you enjoy that you saw on your birthday? I mean, I watched Jaws a lot on my birthday, and I enjoy that, so. Okay. Zane Power says, seriously, do you take the Eat the Rich lifestyle where one of the people actively online cheering happy those rich people died on the submarine? I mean, I'm not happy anyone dies. That's sad. But you can go too far with certain things that I think have, anyway, makes sense. All right, question. Watching anything for Lunar New Year? No. I'm a little confused when that is. Anyway, sorry. But no, I don't think we are. We'll probably watch something on that day. Anyway, question is, the most exposure you've had to Among Us still Daniel Craig playing it in the bathtub in Glass Onion? Probably. Zane Powers, thoughts on the Sonic and Shadow ship now being canon with the announcement of the Sonic Shadow game? Cool. I don't know enough about all the Sonic things, and my daughter was into the comics for a little bit and then got out of it, so we'll see. Maybe I'll probably dip back in the Sonic lore when Sonic 3 comes out. Question, did you know the director of Dogman also did the Country Bears movie? I did not. You brought that up a few times. Sorry I didn't mention that during the show. But it's cooler during Dog. I don't know Dogman as well as I've read several of the Captain Underpants with my daughter. I don't know Dogman very well, but I think maybe we will after that movie. Is this your first time having a Red Bull in a while? I guess it is. I think I wanted to do the Zoya, but I ran out of time, and I actually got this when I was shooting like a ton of stuff one night, and I never used it actually. Given we had Barbenheimer, would you like to have Oppozilla? Nice. I would be. Thoughts on the saltwater taffy? It's okay. What are your thoughts on Amelia Earhart's plane being found? Every certain year someone says, we're close, and I'm like, just find it or shut the fuck up. Like, don't do these like, we're kind of close. I'm like, I don't care. You actually got to do it. Least favorite person named Joe. I don't know. I can't think of one. Thoughts on Seth MacFarlane saying Family Guy isn't ending anytime soon? Not surprising, Zane Powers. Al Vasquez, maybe next year for 2023 you could do the first episode of American Dad that came out in 2005. Keep the Seth MacFarlane trade rolling, baby. Maybe. I was never really into American Dad, so I don't know about that. Wait, where? Oh, you asked the same question? Did you download Yes, we did. She has Minecraft. Don't worry. Have you ever been so turned on you got a bloody nose? No, I'm not an anime character. Let's see. Okay, not plausible. Question. Not a question, but the Kevin Conroy Batman thing is strange because it marks an unceremoniously end to Batman that just happened to coincide with Conroy's death. Yeah, that is true. That is true. I kind of think, I hope the Infinite Earth thing is the end because that's kind of a nice ending, but we'll see. Cornbread should probably stop answering questions around here if you aren't already, by the way, since when typing your past when you said you'd stop. Oh, okay. I think I answered everybody. Joe Cornahan? Maybe. Jaws and IMAX I haven't done. I've done Jaws 3D, which was actually good. Did I get everyone? I think I did, actually. Okay. Anyway, it's late. We actually went 5 minutes over. But I want to thank you all for being here. I hope I answered everyone's question correctly. Did I answer everyone's question? Sorry. I don't know why. Anyway, I hope I answered everyone's question. Try to comment below a 2023 movie you would like for me to review. If you could, I'll probably do a community post Oscars when I've actually seen enough I sort of know what my top 10 is, but I guess it really depends on the more I've seen. But we'll see. I mean, I think everyone knows what my number one probably would be, I'm guessing. But anyway, I'm sorry about that, Embla. Do I need to write you a note? Anyway, thank you all for being here. Thank you anyone for the super chats. Cheers to anyone who gave one. I will see you all next week on Wednesday. There'll be a video tomorrow. I think it'll just be the Family Guy video. But thank you all for being here. Thank you for being cool and nice as you are. Check out the other stuff. And yeah, I'll see you all next week. I think that's it. Go see some cool movies. See you around. And subscribe if you would like to. And have a good night. All right, cool. Bye.